Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse number 31. Na cha shreha anupashyami hatva swajanmahave na kangshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. O Krishna, I do not see how anything auspicious can arise from killing my own kinsmen in battle, nor do I desire victory, the resulting kingdom, or even happiness. So now Arjun is giving the reasons that why he does not think that going to this battle would be beneficial for anyone, especially for him and his family. He is saying that he does not see anything auspicious arising from killing his own kinsmen in this battle. This is actually a very good argument. The word he uses here is Shreya. What does Shreya mean? Shreya means auspiciousness or something which is the ultimate goal of our life. Shri Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ji, in his lecture on this particular verse, says that there are two things, Shreya and Preya. Here Arjun is speaking of Shreya. Shreya means ultimate goal and Preya means immediately palatable. That is called Preya. And he gives an example that just like a child, he likes to play all day and night. Naturally playful child. So that is called Preya. He likes immediate pleasure. But his father says, my dear child, just go to school or read book. So father is asking for Shreya, which is ultimate goal, because if he is not educated at the childhood, then how will he prosper in his future life? So considering the future prospect, ultimate good, that is called Shreya, and Preya means immediate. So Preyas means that when we are only thinking about those things, those activities that will give us immediate pleasure. If we take another example, that many times there are food that we like to eat, they're very, very palatable, very delicious. For example, sweets. You may like to eat a lot of sweets, lot of gulab jamuns, halwas. Most of us have a sweet tooth, as they say. So eating something very sweet is very pleasurable to the tongue, to our senses. But if we eat too much sweets, what can that lead to? Diabetes. So someone who's concerned about his or her long-term health and who's cognizant of the harm that this immediate pleasure of eating sugar will have on the long-term health, will abstain from eating sweets or will eat it in moderation. So that person is looking for Shreyas, or means ultimate goal of a long-term healthy body. Let's take another example. We all earn money and some people make a good amount of money, but then we hear stories all the time that they have saved nothing for the retirement. Why? Because when you have money, you can either use all of that money right now to enjoy, or you can use the money in moderation for now and save some of it for your retirement, for the rainy day. So having this understanding that I have to be cognizant, I have to be mindful of what the ultimate goal is the Shreyas consciousness. But only thinking of right now is called Preyas consciousness, when we are only interested in immediate pleasures. In Kat Upanishad, there is a very nice verse that says, Shreyascha Preyascha Manushyam etah tau sampritya vinivakti dhiraha Shreya hi dhiraha abhipreyosi vrinite preha mandaha yogam isham ad vrinite. That the people in this world have two types of goals or two types of approaches. One is Shreya, which those who focus on the long-term objective of life, and Preyascha, those who are only running after the immediate goal, the immediate pleasures. It says that those who are intelligent, those who are dhiraha, this is a word that Krishna will also use in the second chapter multiple times, that someone who has fixed intelligence, stable intelligence, someone who's dhiraha, that person will examine and distinguish that what is good for my ultimate goal. Many times for your ultimate goal, you may have to make sacrifice for your immediate pleasures. Just as we were discussing that for your long-term good health, you may have to sacrifice the immediate pleasure of eating sweets, immediate pleasure of eating junk food, immediate pleasure of eating fried and spicy food, because many times these things cause long-term health problems. So an intelligent man will examine and distinguish them, because for the intelligent person, what does he prefer? He prefers Shreyas, or the long-term goal, over Preyas, which means immediate pleasures. Whereas Mandaha, those who are ignorant, choose the pleasant for the sake of his body. So here Arjun is saying that the immediate goal is to win this battle and to get control of the kingdom that we think is rightfully belongs to us. That is the immediate goal, and that's why we are all assembled in this battlefield. But if I think of the long-term goal, which is Shreyas, then I do not see anything good in this battle, because what is the long-term goal? Long-term goal is that in this kingdom, in our homes, in palaces, we should happily live with our family members, with our cousins, with our elders, with our juniors, with our subjects, because that is what ultimately one works hard for. So that is normally how all of us think. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Rishabh Dev, who was a great king, actually a Shaktivesh avatar of the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Rishabh Dev is giving instructions to his sons, and in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he says, Ato griha kshetra sutaptah vittahi, that the purpose, the general purpose of people in this world is what? That they want griha kshetrah sutaptah vittahi. They want to have a nice body. Griha means home. They want to have kshetra, means other properties, land, cars. And then sutaptah means children, and vittahi, relatives and wealth. Vittahi means wealth. So this is why we are all working so hard, right? We see people working so hard. Why? Because we want to have a family, we want to have a nice house, we want to have some bank balance, children and relatives. So Arjun is saying that if we win this battle also, where I will get home, I will have some property and potentially wealth, but I will lose all my kinsmen. And without having family, without having swajan, people who are your own, what is the use of land, wealth, and home? There is no pleasure or happiness in it. As we can see, in many cases, people who earned a lot of money, they are millionaires. We see even examples today. They have huge mansions, but they are still very depressed. Why? Because they are lonely. They don't have anyone in their to call their own self. They have no family members, loving wife or children. So ultimately, happiness comes from relationships. Happiness does not come from material objects. You may not have a big house, a lot of wealth, but if you have family members who are loving, who are close to you, who are with you, then you will experience much more happiness. So Arjun is arguing that, oh my dear Lord Krishna, without the family members who actually are the cause of happiness, all these loving relationships, if those loving relationships cease to exist, why they will cease to exist? Because people will die in this battle. Then I don't see anything auspiciousness in this battle field. So this argument looks very, very powerful. What Arjun is saying seems to be nothing wrong in it. But as Krishna will point out later in the second chapter, that Shreyas and Preyas, how do we determine what is ultimate and what is immediate, is not based on our this lifespan. When we compare things only to our this life, then we will determine certain things to be good or bad. But our misconception is that our life is limited to this body. But as Krishna will explain in the second chapter, that life exists beyond this body. There was never a time when we, as in our spiritual form, as souls, did not exist or will cease to exist in the future. Life is eternal. We are eternal. The soul is eternal. So when we compare what is good and bad, not to this limited lifespan of 70, 80, 100 years, but when we determine the good or bad, Shreyas or Preyas, ultimate or immediate goal, compared in respect to our eternal goal, our eternal good, our eternal life, then we will see that the important thing is not simply to cater to the needs of this body, home, property, children, and relatives, but to cater to the needs of the soul and not determine good and bad simply in relation to this body. Right now, we are all struggling for working to maintain those relationships that are based on the body. But Krishna is going to tell Arjun, no, the relationships that you have to strive for are those that are based on eternal relationship with the Supreme, that is me. So we have to extend our vision. We have to think beyond this life. We have to think what is the ultimate objective of our life, which is self-realization. So simply worrying about his relatives here is not necessarily the right thing, because this battle is for the higher purpose, for the establishment of the principles of religion. That is the Shreyas, that is the ultimate goal. Now, how we go from Preyas to Shreyas is what Krishna will explain in Bhagavad Gita. While catering to our immediate needs, we also stay focused on our ultimate need. We are living in our homes. So when we live in home, grihe tishtati, that is called grihast, a householder. Now when staying at home, how do we make it Shreyas? How do we become disentangled while apparently being entangled in the family is to make the grihast as an ashram. That's why in our Vedic scriptures it is called grihast ashram, and it becomes an ashram when we make Krishna the center of everything that we do in our life, in our family, along with our family members, that apparent entanglement actually becomes the source of disentanglement. This is the great science which Krishna will explain in Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, have a very blessed day.